Well, Jim, as delighted as you were with the first half, I'm sure you're quite disappointed with the second half, but ultimately we're where we were at the kick-off.
Well, we've got the game. I thought we were really good first half. I think we were really good up till we got the second goal, and then we wanted to play extra passes for some reason. So I just remind the lads just to be expect a reaction from them, especially with kicking what we could perceive as down the slope into their home fans. Expect them to make changes, expect them to go a little bit more at it, and then you've got to be manly and stand up to it. And I thought, there's a lot of reasons why the goals came about and the chances came about for them, but we should have been able to manage the game a little bit better second half.
To the uninitiated, how do you explain a turnaround in a game like that? And you talk about games of two halves. I mean, as good as we were in the first half, they were terrific in the second.
Well, I thought we exploited their weaknesses, like we talked about before the game. We thought using Belly and Daz down the left would get us lots of change. We obviously spoke about other aspects that would, without going into all of them, corners, throw-ins, and playing our shape. I expected them to play 4-4-2, but their two wingers were basically pulled back up the pitch and never really, they were caught between supporting and defending, and our fullbacks got a lot of joy, our wingers got a lot of joy. Second half they changed shape, so I think credit to them. They've kept the two up front, decided to play a diamond, brought on two subs for the two players that perhaps were perceived for them the weakest. I thought, if I've got any lament in the second half, I just thought as a team we weren't very good at getting out of our half and keeping the ball in the other half. And I'm hoarse now from telling people to run it, to get down the sides, get behind them, and earn us a set play. And the amount of times midfielders just cleared it to the keeper, cleared it out of play, the amount of times we kicked it out of play, the amount of times that we had options to run it and force a set play or a cross, we decided to play a little square ball. And we talked about all those things there, and I think don't try and take the heat out of the game, try and keep the pressure on the opposition by making positive things. And I thought that's what I'm saying, that the 15 minutes at the end of the first half, I thought our mentality had changed a little bit. Instead of going arse, be ruthless, keep getting at them, and obviously by giving the ball away then the mentality changes, and then you're looking for some leaders, some men to stick their bodies in, earn us a set play, keep the ball up the pitch for us, and then players to calm down and just work the opportunities and work the territory. And I thought that we didn't do that well enough.
Having said all of that, you must be delighted with that opening half an hour, and you got those two goals. You could have maybe even had more. It was a fluid football, fabulous football at times to watch, and you must be so proud of the players for that opening 30 minutes or so.
It's gone. I'm watching my head as the second half. There's no point playing like that for 30 minutes. I thought we rose to the occasion. I thought we took the game to them. I thought we were really positive. We've seen all the strengths of so many of our players. But like I said, I think that certain players decided that they wanted to maybe indulge themselves for an extra touch, an extra pass, or going backwards to go sideways. And that's when you started seeing the frailties of our players in terms of possession, when really what we should be doing is just giving good balls to front players, be positive, be direct, and getting amongst them and ask questions. And when we did that, we were really good. They know they can play like that, and then I'm asking the question, why didn't you do that for the remainder of the half and put the game to bed, or why didn't you just sort of learn to do that? But I think maybe half time a couple of them felt the pressure of they came out and had a right goal, got the goal, and we needed to stay up and be manly. And I just don't think long throw, people getting run, but again the pressure built on the defence because the amount of times the front players. And the fans are probably wondering why Frank and Matty are out of the team. And did it stick? Did he get us up the pitch? Did he earn us a set play? They weren't overly isolated because we were trying to get Adam and Scott in high positions, but I'm having to shout at people to get high and do things positively. And if you sit in and wait for them to give you the ball, then that's a risk. What you need to do is go and be positive. And I thought that the lack of positive in the second half from a number of players and the lack of purpose in getting us up the pitch and earning us possession and territory and set plays was what let us down to me.
I've got to ask you about Jason Gilchrist, obviously not in the 16. How tough a decision was that today?
Yeah, we talked about it for ages. I think the first half performance tells you why. I thought we had enough in the team to score goals. I thought there was a couple of things that had changed which didn't improve us in terms of Sam Walker set plays as opposed to Scott Duxbury's. I didn't want Scott having to run 70 yards back in while Scott's. And I felt there was going to be a game where we'd be under a lot of pressure and we needed somebody physical up front to get us up the pitch, and that's not Jason's game. I don't think we'd have been able to use him today as a sub because the ball would have just kept coming back, and it wasn't the nature of the game. So, like I said, we've got a good group of players, and I thought I picked the right team. That showed in the first half. Tried to make changes in personnel that I thought would give us some freshness, give us some drive, give us some desire. But ultimately they took a good grip in the game and we weren't able to get it back.
Were you aware that Telford had equalised at Chorley in that second half when you saw the county fans celebrating over there? Did you realise what happened? We assumed that there did something going on, but like I said, I'm not bothered about anybody else, what Telford do, Brackley. We just have to keep focused on our own performance, and I think that we talked about things in training. We talked about things after the Fylde game. I think away from home we were kind of quite scintillating, but the amount of times we gave the ball away from throw-ins, the amount of times that we won the ball back and just gave it away because the tempo was up and there wasn't enough control and cleverness, and so I just, like I said, I'm only bothered about our own performance. And if we need to learn some really hard lessons from today about how to maintain the tempo and the energy levels to make sure that we don't think that we can see any game out. I think I'm really disappointed with even the Ashton game, the Darlington game, the way that we finish it, and we think that we're okay just cruising through to the end, and it's not going to happen like that. Other teams are going to just gamble, to commit players to try and win games, whether they're chasing points or not. And I think that our players, sort of sank in and had a mentality of just protecting the lead. And then when you can see the goal so late on, it's going to be really difficult for you to motivate yourself. And I think probably what summed up our decision making at times was the kick-off. We have this mentality of running the ball, but we give it to somebody who dumps it on somebody else and he kicks it out of play. And that's just symptomatic of the mentality when the game's going against you, and that's where they need to grow and be much better in those sort of aspects. Otherwise I'm horsing what's the thinking behind that. But fans were great today, their fans were great. I can see why they've had a warning from the fans behind us, but it created an atmosphere. The second half they deserve to get something out of it and they'd be absolutely delighted. But from our perspective I think we showed why we're at the top, and we just need to improve a couple of little areas just to make sure that we stay there and kick on. Could be at the top on your own on Tuesday night, couldn't it? It's your game in hand, it's the one. I think we always felt it might be pivotal, this trip to Chester. You're
obviously not a statistician. Unless we beat them 7 or 8-0, we'll not be top. All you want to do is just maximise what we get out. Chester's not going to be an easy game. From our perspective, I don't know, am I right there?
We're 2 points adrift, so if we win, we'll go top.
All right, sorry, apologies. To that point, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a nice situation for the lads to be in. I'm thinking they've lost. They've drawn and we've lost. All the permutations.
There's going to be a lot of that to come. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, what a great game, Chester away.
Yeah. A bit like this one, really.
I mean, I don't know how they've gone on. Blythe
they've got a 3-2 today at Nuneaton. They've won 3-2.
Yeah, we'd expect them to win that game, and based upon the results that are at Telford's result or maybe Altrincham result, they'll probably still feel there's a chance. So it's a gung-ho game for them. They've got to go and win the game, and we've got to have the same mentality and go and win the game. We need to pick ourselves up. What we do on Monday is really important. Making the right changes, the right improvements, it's going to be critical. And what I want to do is just see a response from the lads on Tuesday night to show a champion's performance. When we've been put in that situation before, whether it was Spennymoor or other games where we had a game in hand, let's show it's a great challenge for the lads and a real opportunity for them to show why they can be champions.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for your time. Cheers, Jim. Thanks.